Okay, so let's sum this up so you understand the method to my madness. What did you know, first of all, I brought it up to you at the beginning. Here, I'm yelling again. Okay, so right away, what did we say, the P table, how did it look different when you put it on electrons? What was the first thing? Helium got moved, this square right here got moved over there. Hydrogen, and here's helium right beside it. Tell me about hydrogen and
Now, if you
helium's
have your
electron
blank
configuration.
periodic table already pulled up, you can use the
What was the
highlighter
number in
tool
front?
or the pen tool.
One,
Dots, and you can
because
draw
they're
right
in
on
what
that.
row?
The first one.
First one, they're in the first
So we
energy
have
level. And what was the only orbital you saw? S. Now take a look at lithium and beryllium. We're just going to consider the last orbital notation. The first one is 1s2. That's already there. But what comes next? 2s1 and 2s2. Go down to, did you do sodium and magnesium? Okay, sodium and magnesium. Forget the full ones. You're past 1s, you're past 2s and 2p. What's the last one? 3s, and it's what? 3s1 and 3s2. Are we seeing the pattern? This first two sets of columns right here. Let me use a different color. This set right here. This is called the S block because the last notation for that element is going to be in that block somewhere. It'll be either in row 1 or column 2. If the element's in column 1, it's going to end as S1. If the element's in column 2, it's going to end how? S2. Isn't that convenient? If I had to give an electron configuration for, say, calcium right here, my very last orbital would have to be 4s2. And then everything else is the same. Did you notice, stenographers, secretaries, did you notice you were repeatedly writing the exact same thing? It's going to be that pattern every single time. All right, skip over the valley and look at boron here. What was the last orbital for boron? It was, no?
S2p1.
2p1. What was the last orbital for carbon? 2p2. What was the last orbital for nitrogen? Without, sorry, that's supposed to be a 2, not a 3. I swear I'm getting dyslexic. So this is 2p3. So let's continue it on. What's going to be oxygen?
2p4.
And fluorine?
2p5.
And what's neon? 2p6. Once again, a pattern, right? So this whole block, right here, excluding helium, because helium's over there, this whole block is called the P block. Now, I didn't have you do transition metals. There's a reason for that. But the transition metals, if you mark those separate, this is called the D block. So if calcium ended in S2, the next one, which is scandium, is going to end in 3D1. And it'll go 3D1, 3D2, 3D3. So this is D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D9, and finally D10. And then this final area down here, what do you think that block's going to be named? F. I'm not going to write them in, but that's going to go from 1 to 14. That is hugely convenient, because now I know where the last orbital is located. And when I know the last orbital, all I have to do is fill in everything up full. So let's just take an example. Let's do one you didn't do, I know for a fact. Let's do, did anybody do sulfur? Did we stop before we got to sulfur?
I did.
You did sulfur? Okay, I don't want to do sulfur. Let's do bromine. And I'm going to leave a long line here. Based on this table, look where bromine's located. What row is bromine in? Not the third. It's in the fourth. Remember, don't forget to count hydrogen and helium. That's number 1. So it's in the 4th energy level. It's in what column of what block?
The fifth column.
Fifth column of the P block. So we're at P5. And now we do the dance. Only I'm not going to do the dance, I'm just going to yell it out. Everything else is full up to that last orbital. So here we go. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and then what goes in there that kind of is out of sync? I had to kind of jump back. Remember about the Sims? You had to wait till you had enough retail to do it, enough real estate. This is going to be 3d10. And then 4p5. That's it. That's how you do electron configuration. You just find where the last one is, and then you fill up. And I tell you right now, the secretaries of your group, people had to write this down, they know this now because they were the ones writing 1s1, 1s2, okay, here's the next one, 1s2, 2s1. They were writing this all down. And they have it now. They know this is what's coming up because they had to write it over and over again. But that's all there is to that. Okay? Questions so far? Now, I'm not going to give you an element that is beyond the transition metals. I'm going to stop at calcium because it is hard to remember about that 3D thing. But you have to remember that when you get to scandium, it goes down 1 energy level. And when you go to cesium, it actually goes down 2 energy levels. So I'm not going to worry about that. If you take Mrs. Chanley for Chem 2 or AP Chem, you can worry about it then. But right now, have a good feel for how calcium goes. How do we do when we get to calcium? All right. In fact, let's do one more, just for funsies. Let's do sulfur. Where is the last orbital located? Sulfur is where? Third. It's in the, what block?
Of the P block.
And it's in the 4th column?
Yeah.
4th. So that's your last orbital. All right, let's say it all together with me. What comes first? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and then 3p4. That's it. So I guess if you wanted a cheat sheet, you could just write it out, calcium, and then you just pull them down because you need them. But this is the last one. Now here's your valence shell right here. Those of you working with the FET, this was your 3rd energy level. And you have to count. There's 2 and 4 is 6. And look where sulfur's at. It's in group 16 or group 6. We call it group 6A. and that's the number of valence electrons. So there's a lot of information you can get off the periodic table if you know the repetitious nature of the periodic table. And it's getting really easy. This far out, these electrons, really easy to either take or give because they're very far away from the nucleus. Questions? Are we good so far? All right. So let's do this now. Let's go back to this page. And let me find it here. Okay. Go ahead. I don't want to have two of these. Okay, go ahead and reload it if you have to. And then go ahead and open up CK12. Now, everybody opening up CK12. Now, my page is going to look different than yours because I'm the instructor. You're going to go straight to the page, and I believe there's something at the top that indicates that there's an assignment. Yeah. See the big yellow turn-in button? When you're done, you have to click that turn in. I don't know if it's at the bottom. Scroll down here.
Scroll down.
CK12.
Back right
Go back to the page you were just on.
Okay, it has adaptive practice down
The
there.
module.
Okay, so when you're gonna do the adaptive practice and all that, you'll do that. But don't do turn in until you've done the practice, because I get a report and it'll let me know if you did it or not. So don't just click, don't pull somebody in another class that's next door right now. Don't pull in and click the turn in and think you're done.
Click on the,
All right, now this is really just a reading, but I hope that it's going to make more sense to you. And since we're in groups right now, why don't you go ahead and in your group, softly now, don't be yelling at the top of your lungs, take turns reading through the article. Take notes of questions you have. Oh, Dr. Hopkins, I don't understand this. Don't call me over yet. Just write your questions down, and then we'll pause, and I can answer your questions. But there it is. So there's your picture right there. And those are YouTube videos. You'll have to watch those at home. Because, you can't be trusted with YouTube. Liddell will be out there, she'll be getting in all kinds of bad videos. Liddell's like, what? Joking, kidding. Ha ha ha.
That's funny.
See these review questions? These are the ones you're going to answer. You can do those tonight if you don't. I'd like you, if you can, get them done today. But if you can't, put them on Google Doc and answer them in a Google Doc and submit it to that page I showed you at the beginning. And then right down here, though, the practice. This is adaptive practice, and it's going to give you. It's kind of a game that you can play. And they will change. If you're answering them too easy, they're going to up the hardness level. If you're having trouble with them, they're going to lower the hardness level. So once you've done that, then make sure you click on the turn in button. Yours is a yellow button that says turn in, and you will get credit for having done the assignment that way. Any questions so far? Okay, I'll turn the music back on. You can talk with your group, and you can break the work up a little bit. And if you have questions, let me know after people have had time to read it a little bit. Yes?
So how do you type?
How do I type?
In this?
You have to do that.
No. If you go to see the questions here, just kind of paste those into a Google Doc and then submit it here. Yeah, there's no way of typing answer. I tried. They do have a tool there that you can take notes with and annotate,
Yeah, that's what
but I'm gonna trust it. I don't think it's gonna save it for you. I think you have to be enrolled in CK12 on their end to get it to save.